Okay guys, so I just finished putting a radio and sub in here, and I filmed the whole thing, but my phone wouldn't let me edit it for some reason because I guess it's too big and it was giving me issues. So I'm going to give you guys a quick breakdown of how I did it and where to run wires and stuff like that. It's pretty simple. I had to do a bunch of diagnostic stuff. There were some tweeters in here that weren't working. It was just a bad install by the previous owner, and so I had to do some speaker stuff. I ran all new wires to all 4 speakers. People on forums say to do that because I guess some of the speakers share a negative lead from the radio. So it's advised that you run new wires to all your speakers so you can just plug it in or splice it into the radio harness and not have to worry about the factory harness not working or giving weird issues. So to start off, I built my plug for this radio with one of the plug and play kits. I found one on Amazon. The one that I used came with the car, and the radio that they installed wasn't even working anyway, so I just reused that harness. I will provide in the description an image for that. Actually, I'll provide it right now. You can buy that off of Amazon, and then I will also supply wiring diagram images and a breakdown of the factory plug that I was able to use to splice in my radio harness as well as wire for the speaker wiring. So in case you decide not to run the speaker wires, supposedly, theoretically it would work, but people on forums said not to. I ran into issues, so I just ran new wires. But maybe you can get away with just splicing it in and it just works. Anyways, so build your harness and then run your wires. It's pretty simple. There's a climate control box there. You can thread it up through into the radio cavity for your speaker wires. I ran them along here and just zip tied it so it's not interfering with the pedals. You can pull this kick panel off. There's 2 metal clips, one right here and one right here. It goes over this panel and under this one, so you can kind of do one of these. Pull it up and out. Then you can run your wires down here. There's these plastic screws. I had to install these because I broke them, because you know how plastic screws are, they strip out. But you can take these out and pop this panel off. That gives you access to your carpet. So you can fold that back, run your wires through here. Remove your rear seat. There's 2 12mm bolts right here, if I can get this seat to go forward. There's one right there. Same thing on the other side. Those are 12 mils. You can pull that out, pull your rear seat out, and then that gives you access under here for this panel. You can fish your wires up through there, and then on your back seat, you can fish them up through there. In the trunk, we did this. Threaded them up behind this panel, and they pop out here. There's your speaker access there and there. The previous owners of this car did some crappy, like, they threaded the wire through, they didn't even do, like, it was in the door jamb, like, it was bad on the floor. It was just a weak installation. So anyways, that's to get your wires to the rear. To get your wires up front, you need to pull the door panel. Now, it's pretty easy. I have it on film, but unfortunately my phone won't let me edit it in my little studio app. So this sail panel has 1 clip behind here, just pops off. I think you actually pull it up. This one's screwed in because they installed some tweeters that I deleted because it was bad. To remove the rest of the door panel, there's a Phillips screw here. This comes out once you remove that Phillips screw, and then there's 2 more screws holding it in with a bracket. There's a Phillips screw here that you remove. At this point, you can start from the corner and pop it out. The clips are pretty strong. They shouldn't break. Once you pop out all the clips, you kind of have to be careful of the door handle. You can pull up, get over that door handle, and then pull it out. In there, you'll have access to your speaker wiring and stuff like that. You can splice it in and figure that out. The most important thing is this boot. This is where I ran my speaker wire. I just pulled this boot out a little bit, put my wire in there, pulled this boot out here and put it through there. It was kind of a pain to fish it in, but if you keep stuffing it in there, eventually you can use your camera and look up through a little access port that's here where the wiring's running for the door, and then you can see it and grab it and fish it through. So that's how to do the fronts. Same thing on the passenger side. You can remove that panel. There's another kick panel here held in with some plastic screws, 2 of them right there, you can see them. So that pops out. You can pop that kick panel off and do the same procedure. Door panel, same thing with the screws, so you can pop that out. And I think that's a breakdown pretty much for the speakers. So now I will cut to how I did the sub wiring. Under the hood, this is what we have going on. Take this off. Obviously disconnect your battery when you're running sub stuff. Put that terminal on there, ran this. Here's my fuse. Put this wire connector on here. I ran it under this stock little holding thing. Under here, zip tied it to that hose, and then poked it through that boot down there. You can easily access this with your hand by just reaching down and peeling that boot back, and then you can stuff your wire through there. Where it comes out inside the vehicle is underneath here. It's right there. So it pops out through there. You can fish it through, tie it up, run it through the radio cavity. And on this other side, this is what you're looking at. You'll fish it up through your radio cavity, pull your ashtray out like so. With this panel removed, you can stick your hand up and fish it down. This carpet is really easy to pull out, and then you can fish it underneath here and get that through. From there, you can remove this panel. It's these 2 plastic screws. You can stick your finger in here and pull it up, and that will pop out. I recommend removing the seat. 4 12mm bolts, one right here on the back, one right there, and a 16mm. I pulled this seat out. From there, I had enough room to thread that wire through, down and underneath the seat here. Then, for your base controller knob, if you have one, RCA cables for your head unit, and your remote wire to turn the amp on. Same thing, but you start from the radio cavity, thread it down, underneath this carpet, up through here. Use your ashtray for the access. Same thing, down underneath here. Then once you have all your cables ran, you can put your seat back in. From there, make sure you have enough length. Then you can trim your wires or whatever from your sub here if you're doing an underseat sub. Obviously, if you're doing a rear sub or anything, just run your wires along that chase on the driver's side. There's plenty of room in there for wires, so don't even worry about running anything through the passenger side or messing with that. It's the same procedure anyway if you did want to run it on the passenger side. I just did, the driver's side because that was easier and more convenient for me. So then you can hook up your sub here. Grounding for your sub, you just throw it on that 12mm right there. So that's how that works if you're installing an underseat unit like I did, because there's not really space for anything on the rear deck, and I don't want to do a rear seat delete and build a sub box and all that stuff. So that was my procedure for running the wires there. In the next video, I will be covering how to take this plastic bezel off without destroying it, how to take the clock out. I'm not sure how the factory radio comes out. I didn't have one. It was just that crappy Pioneer that was stuffed in there with all the wires and nonsense. So that was bad. But I will be supplying all the information in the description. Links to a service manual that I found that was super helpful. Breakdown of the factory plug for the radio so you can build your own harness. And I think that's pretty much all I need to supply in the description. Maybe a link, Amazon link to that radio harness plug that I found. So anyways, that's what I did. The radio is working good, and the sub is working good. You can also use that boot to run fog lights or a light bar or something. That's what I did in my other XT. I used that boot to run wires, and then I put a switch on one of these dummy plate cover things. So anyways, unfortunately I couldn't upload the whole video, but it was like 30 minutes long, and I'm not sure anyone would really want to watch me struggle and fight anyway with door panels trying to diagnose speakers. So anyways, thank you for watching. I'm still trying to get better at long form content, but unfortunately I'm just not that good at it yet. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe for more XT content. I think I'm the only one out here making videos breaking down this stuff, because these cars are kind of rare and it's tough to find information on. So I'll be making more content in the future. I'm planning on rebuilding my other XT coupe that I have. Full thing, engine swap, ton of information going to be included in there, as well as information on this, because we still have to replace a ton of stuff on this car. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.